Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. This is the final part of the episode 4 review. Let's just get straight into it.
It was born out of just wanting to remind the world that she's a person and not a headline, and that she's loved, and stick up for her.
The story comes out like, okay, like there was a little bit of an exhale.
We last left off with catching Abigail Spencer in a lie, which led us to believe that she was paid for this documentary, and also come to the conclusion that her other friend, who was the director on Suits, was also lying. So they start talking about how they concocted this plan to go to People magazine and try and do a piece that defended the Duchess, because at that time there was a lot of press coming out about how difficult she was and how cruel she was to her father. Now remember, they didn't bring up the drama that surrounded this. They waited until episode 6, which I clearly pointed out in the last video. Check that out if you need to revisit. But what they were trying to do was build up this narrative that she was really loved by so many of her closest friends. And then it segued into the obnoxious baby shower that she had. And a little side note, I've always said that Meghan gives me Ted Bundy vibes. And what I find hilarious is that on this cover, it just so happens to have I Escaped Ted Bundy, which, is kind of fitting because the two people are compulsive liars and they actually believe that their lies are the truth. And I think Ted Bundy once said that it's not a lie unless you believe it. And I truly think that Meghan also follows that kind of mantra. But anyway, back to the story. They start showing clips of the obnoxious baby shower, and then they show some personal photos of who was there.
These independent, strong, successful women choose to use their own money to throw a party for their friend from a place of love. Why are you taking such a beautiful moment and trying to ruin it?
So show-off Meghan doesn't want to tell you that she leaked this information to the press. She also called the paparazzis to be there to take photos and write up about the ostentatious baby shower, all to show that she is holier than thou and better than everybody, and she hangs around all these rich people. It had nothing to do with having the baby shower. It had everything to do with the opportunists that showed up and the press that everybody was going to get. Her PR was responsible for this public display of vulgarity. This was all about merching and promoting business opportunities and profiles with the various people that were involved. She could have had this shower, and I bet you if she wanted to keep it private, she would have been able to conceal all of this, but she wanted it out there. And P.S., why was Doria not there? This was supposed to be a shower of love, and being that her mother is the closest family member to her, you would think that she would want to be a part of this. These successful women spent so much money. You mean to tell me they couldn't spring an extra couple $100 to get an economy class ticket for Doria to fly over? We know that Meghan wouldn't put her hand in her pocket because she's so damn cheap.
A show-off moment.
Traveling home in style.
Clooney's private jet, not too shabby.
So right after that, they shift into talking about moving into Frogmore Cottage, and they show a series of clips, but none of them actually show the cottage itself.
It was a place where we had so many memories. From our courtship, our engagement, our wedding, our walks.
Another moment of deception. This photo was taken in front of Frogmore House, not cottage, because that's where they had the reception. So was Meghan ashamed of showing Frogmore Cottage? Any of the pictures that Meghan showed of herself pregnant and her face were always in black and white. Listen to what she says next.
And then where we ended up now having our baby.
And there is where we ended up having our baby. Not, and there is where we brought our baby home. So now we get into the lies around Archie's birth. And the things that Meghan says now exposes Doria as also another massive pathological liar.
There was already the pressure of the picture with Archie on the steps, and are they going to do that, are they not?
Meghan was never considering doing any of this stuff because she was fixated on announcing this over Instagram because she thinks she's some sort of mega influencer. I thought it was extremely tacky and crass, in my opinion.
But I had been really worried going into that labor because I'm older and I didn't know if I'd have to have a C-section. And
It's lie upon lie upon lie.
I had a very long-standing relationship with my doctor. And that's who I trusted with my pregnancy.
This is another lie. First off, how could she have a long-standing relationship with this doctor if this was her first pregnancy and first baby that she was having? Secondly, the doctor that was listed in Finding Freedom was Penelope Law, who wasn't working that day Meghan allegedly had this baby. And third, no doctor would have let her go home, considering she is a geriatric mother, to leave the hospital after 4 hours of giving birth. No way. So Meghan throws in another lie about Portland Hospital.
And I said, okay, well, we could do a photo call in front of Portland Hospital. And they said, it's impossible.
It's lie upon lie upon lie.
The whole description she does of the Portland Hospital, the birth, that was completely fabricated. We all know the first interview was given to CBS. We all know that she never intended to go to the Portland Hospital. She intended to have the baby at home. We know that they deceived the public about the birth data and time of the whole event. As a man who conspired with Meghan in this 6 hours.
And I've said this before, every time that Harry lies, he always looks at Meghan while he's telling the lie.
The amount of abuse that we got, especially you, but both of us, for not wanting to serve our child up on a silver platter.
The ease at which these two can lie is astounding. Of course they wanted to serve their child up on a silver platter to the highest bidder, and that was Netflix. So shut up, Harry.
With a chimp, and at the top it said, "Royal baby leaves hospital." So that was one of the first things that I saw.
This is one of the few times that I actually agree with Harry. This was not cool at all. But here's the thing. This is going to always exist. There's going to be people out there who are going to say things, insensitive things, that others don't agree with. And I get that this was very, very racist, but he apologized in recognizing that it was insensitive. So move forward. As these two continue to keep racism alive, you're going to have people who are going to have a different thought process. You can't do anything about it. And when you do shine a light on it, you just amplify the hatred because they keep revisiting the same narrative. It's been 4 years now since this guy apologized, but they keep talking about it. So it's not this guy's fault that racism is alive. It's these two. So, of course, they then insert Doria to get her take on the press intrusion about the baby. And she chimes in to give her thoughts, which honestly, at this point, I could care less what Doria thinks because she's already proven herself to be invaluable to this conversation. So next they show photos of Doria and the baby, almost as a big FU to Thomas Markle since he has been begging to see his grandchildren. So once again, Meghan either makes her mother look like the liar or she makes Omid Scobie look like the liar.
I was there when she brought him home from the hospital.
That's not what Finding Freedom says. In chapter 20, the very first paragraph says, Harry jumped behind the wheel of the navy blue Range Rover where Meghan and Doria were waiting in the back seat on the night of Sunday, May 5th.
I was there when she brought him home from the hospital.
So which is it, Doria? Were you there or were you not there? First off, why wouldn't you be there with your daughter who is giving birth to her first child? This is an outright lie. And look how easy this is for her.
No tiny little thing. I'd never been a grandma. I mean, I'm new to being a grandma.
And here's the evidence of Doria not having that maternal side really down pat that Meghan so claims. Like, I find her statement so bizarre by saying, like, I have not been a grandmother. Like, that's such a weird statement to say. She has been a mother. I don't think it's that far of a stretch to be a grandmother, especially when holding a baby, feeding a baby. Those things you've already done before, Doria, allegedly.
The pressure you're under.
And I guess because I was so exhausted, I was just really...
So now, rehashing the past, they are now addressing the African tour where Meghan stood there with doe eyes saying that nobody asked me if I'm okay and whining about how tough it's been to be a mother and working. Right. Both of them making it about themselves and how hard life is being a royal, and totally neglecting the fact that they are in a country where there's so much suffering going on and people trying to figure out how they're going to feed their family on a day-to-day basis. So she is just claiming ignorance at this point, saying that she didn't know that they were going to ask her this question and if that soundbite was going to be included in the interview. This is an absolute lie. She knew what she was doing because this was calculated. They were on their way out. They had their plans to leave. And this was to overshadow the Pakistani trip between Catherine and William. So, of course, they did what they had to do, and it was an all-out attack on the family. Totally planned. This woman knew what she was doing.
Grateful that someone seemed to ask me something like I was a human being.
Stop it. Get some help.
Suddenly go, oh wow, that what I said has gone like it's like yes, it's global.
That's, I think, what spawned that hashtag We Love You, Meghan.
No one in the family speaks that openly. No one had done, apart from one person, my mum.
It's lie upon lie upon lie.
From an institutional perspective, there was something wrong with her as opposed to the environment or the system of which we were part of.
And this is why this couple is so disliked. They have managed to blame everybody and not take the opportunity to understand why everybody is so disgusted with them. It would have been a little more respectable if they brought in some people that had these issues with them and sat down to fully understand why the institution was attacking his wife. Oh no, because they weren't. Also, since he wanted the editors to change the story headlines and to stop printing about her, why didn't he himself sit down with those editors and ask them? Instead of manning up and facing the truth, he did what only cowards would do. They hide behind other people, and they purposely try to make others look bad so they can feel better about themselves. Harry, get some help privately because you're making Better Up look worse and worse by the minute every time you open your mouth. So finally, we have made it to the end of this episode, but truth be told, this took forever to get through because there were so many lies. And just seeing the amount of manipulation and deceit that it just needed to be exposed. But in any case, Meghan finishes off to say that, after this Africa trip and how it was received by the world and seeing that the institution gave them no support, then, it was alleged that that time was when they started planning their exit, which is a lie.
It was a huge turning point. It's when we started having harder conversations about what needs to happen.
Yeah, you're the new me.
Shut up, Meg.
The only thing that I'm really getting out of this series is seeing how sick these two are and really are in need of some professional help. But we have 2 more episodes to go, so I will be back soon with another review video. But until then, turn on your notification bell buttons. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
That was such a fraud.
It's lie upon lie upon lie.